Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is Engineer Suraj Singh speaking from Bharat, India on this day, March 6, 2021, Saturday. Title is Quality. Overall title is Quality, total title is Civil Field Engineering, Designs, Construction Methods, Contracts, etc. etc. Quality, most important talk every day because it's required now. Falling the status of quality is a matter of serious concern, grave concern. Quality is nothing extraordinary, it is just what is required. That's all. If somebody raises question, why you talk of quality? My answer is, it is not very specific or new. Quality is required because it is required. We cannot say it's not required. It's natural. God has given everything. What do we eat? It comes from nature. We add nothing to that. Only processing we do. But everything comes from nature in well balanced manner, and we use it, consume it. Nature has its own system. Nature has given us many weather conditions, and it has given us resources or sources, you can say, rather than speaking resources, because sources is better here, because original availability is source, and use it second time, you can say it's a resource. So God gives us what is ours. I mean, for us, I'm not saying ours, for us, we have to consume it. This means God cannot go opposing quality. Whatever specifications God decided for earth, those specifications have been working since this universe started. We do not know when did it start, but whatever time it started, centuries ago or millenniums ago or crores of years ago, whatever, system has been working. This means there is no deviation from this system. This system is like, master proof or change proof or deviation proof. But what system we humans produce, we have direct claim on that. We have done it. We start talking of patent, talking of your rights, talking of we are first. But we forget that whatever we do, we ourselves are products of that power. Only difference is that every individual has physical as well as mental capacity to use. Mental capacity is actually very, very significant. It varies in all individuals, though God gives equality to everybody, but it's not easy for everybody to use that capacity all time. We forget our capacity, and when we see this world, earth world, I mean mundane world, we are misled by this material world. We are misled. Misled in a sense, see, everybody goes to university, gets educated, and education is related to, some Devi, Saraswati. I'm just giving name, don't take it otherwise. You see, that God gives us power to learn. But when we go to field, when we go to work, when we go to earning, at that time some other God replaces that one. So there is a change from one God to another God. One God was for your mental power, mind strength, means education is strength, power of learning. Other one is power of earning. This means if there is no God for power of learning, there can be no way power of earning can be applied, can be achieved. What I am trying to say is, if there is no thinking capacity in someone, if someone cannot think, how one can do intellectually? You cannot do intellectually. It's not possible. Operation of mind is extremely and outstandingly important. Expression of mind, use of mind. Mind cannot be seen. Body can be seen. Mind cannot be felt. It can be used. You use your mind in education. You use your mind all your life, but not full. Your mind was educated so that it gets strengthened, and it gets strengthened and it works. That's a very important point. If mind doesn't work, this means there's a problem. It would affect your health, it would affect everything, and it will affect body, it will affect health. You can't rely on without mind. You can't do anything without mind. Mind's operation is thinking. Think, contemplate. Something in your mind that comes as shape or template, you can say. Some kind of tabulation comes in your mind, some kind of picture comes in your mind, and you concentrate on that and change it many times in your mind. Means you just focus on that picture, you will achieve something finally in that. That is what is required. So thinking is engineering, and engineering is not directly done. It takes many trial. Engineering takes many trial to come to certain shape. Engineering takes many trial to come to certain shape. That is very much true. You cannot do anything if you cannot do anything if you can't think, at least in life and in engineering or wherever. You have to follow something. That's one part. Means in following you are going to learn, or you are leading someone where someone is learning from you, someone learns from you. Both happens. First you have to learn, then somebody has to learn from you, or you have to teach someone else. This sequence goes on and on until one leaves this world. Everybody has to learn, even on last day or last time. So learning process is very strong. It does not stop even if you want to stop it. Mind is beyond control. Just like body is also beyond control. Though mind is a part of body, but I am saying separately because it is ruler of body. So mind is different. And mind is engineering. It orders you, not only engineering, life engineering. It's life engineering. So question is, why I am talking about mind in relevance to quality talk? Because mind is also having quality. Without quality, you can't say anything, but you have to understand that. We know generally the mind or brain is considered having two hemispheres, and generally medically also they call it left hemisphere and right hemisphere. Means if you section your mind into two parts, this hemisphere shape goes to two hemispheres, and it is understood that left hemisphere is connected to right hand and right hemisphere is connected to left hand. This is called, and your right hand is, you can say, working hand in normal life, though left also works, but lead working you can say is right arm, and otherwise is thinking you can say information receiving from nature or from unknown is done by right hemisphere or left arm. This is understanding. Speed of mind is very fast if you want to use it. Quality has no problem there because it is natural. If you want to use mind, some person can use it very fast, otherwise some person takes time even to start it. It depends on your practice of using this power of nature. Only power of nature is mind, all other powers are irrelevant. If your mind is very dynamic, very sharp, you can go on very fast in learning and in teaching, in deciding, in contemplating, in thinking. And thinking is nothing but engineering of all. In construction line, though we say we are laymen, yes, we are laymen, we are lay people because we lay something and do something, and because of that laying process, we achieve something. It's very amazing that these lay people lay something and others get it, others use it. Yes, there is a backup behind that. Engineers work, technologies work, everything work. Materials work, equipment works, resources work. That is indeed right. Every resource works, and nothing can be done without that. That is truth. But it is also truth that without engineering, which we call intelligent world, engineering means genius world. This term, this professional term engineer itself announces that person who is engineer must be genius. Genius means person who thinks very intensively with high power and responses. That is called genius. It may be engineer or it may be many other professionals who originally think and they think a lot and do a lot. Engineering means, you are leader in society. You have to lead society to develop society. You have to lead society to change society, because development changes society. I am not saying that you will change culture of people, but you have to understand culture of people and give shape to it through engineering. We cannot deny any culture to anybody. If somebody thinks of culture, uses of culture, is welcome, because engineering is not to crush others' ideas, but to convert those ideas into useful items. So purpose of engineering is that we should respect culture, think on that. Of course we have to analyze, that is right, because analysis gives us power. I call analysis very important procedure, very important act or activity in engineering. Without analysis we cannot understand anything. It may be structural analysis, or it may be life analysis, or it may be any problem. Whatever problem do we face, that problem's analysis. If somebody is successful in doing analysis and then understanding its outcome, for that person that problem is solved. But until we do not analysis, we see problem in concrete shape and we can't solve it. That is also true. So analysis is also engineering, you can say. Creation is engineering, and to be very frank, change is engineering. You can say what people require to give them in that way through engineering is engineering. You can say engineering is something which is totally based on requirements, and the requirements are people defined. Requirements are not separate. If I say this work is done according to the requirement, this means requirement is defined. Means within scope of that requirement, you are bound to do that work. To say that, to claim that I have satisfied this work according to these requirements, and there is no control. You can expand that requirement, or you can squeeze that requirement. This depends on engineering, how many percent of requirement you want to give or you want to return. You say 100% I cannot do, now 50%, whatever. Means whatever you agree on those requirements, that's called specification. Means a specific requirement, you can say a requirement that is required, or requirement that we have to achieve, that is called a specification based, and that description comes into that requirement scope, that's called specification. So definition of specification is we have to finalize ourselves as engineers, what we have to deliver, what standard we have to deliver. We cannot say standard can be enhanced, but it's not practically possible to do everything in one go. So gradually specifications are upgraded, are given quality standards, and those standards you have to follow. Means within some measurement, you can say you have to fix certain criteria that we have to work like this. That's very important point. We have to work like this, and the point of quality comes in. Means if we meet those requirements in our work, we can say that our quality to this requirement is done, is achieved. We cannot say it is a natural quality. We say this is defined specification, whatever was given or included or agreed by us, that we have to keep ourselves within the realm of the specification. All this, that's called quality mark of that specification. It does not mean total quality. You try to understand. Quality is life. So if you don't have quality in the life, whatever, at least existence quality you should have. You cannot say every quality. It means to what level you have to survive. Just like you say, oh, I'm taking food because I was hungry. Yes, I was hungry. I am taking food. I take food to quench that hunger, to kill that hunger. To that extent, it is specification. And if I take overdose of that food, you can see what happens. So there is a fixed mark up to this level. Food is a must. Otherwise, you will not survive. So you can say that level can be called quality. I have taken food to my standard requirement, and now I am happy. And it's food all the time you take this. And similarly, you can say I have done study for 10 hours a day, or you can say I every day study for 10 hours, 15 hours. You fix your criteria yourself, and then you can say, okay, my timetable is okay, it's moving. I fix this timetable and this is working. Okay, fine, for you it's okay, but this doesn't apply to everybody. It lies to you. So it's your quality criteria that I have to work minimum so much every day, so that I can gradually, smoothly reach my milestones and then total destination. This quality plays everywhere. It may be method, it may be result, it may be start, it may be end, or it may be whatever you can say. We call it controls. In the management or organization, we call, you must have been told in last times, in past videos, that quality is one of those factors, one of those areas where we consider a must, like cost we consider. We say this is budgetary requirement and we cannot exceed this, and that cost point has to be kept everywhere. We have to spend money only, keeping abreast that that cost should not exceed. Of course, even if it exceeds, it exceeds few tolerable percentages, and attempt is made to keep cost within that defined limit. That's called budget. And cost is very important there, because if you spend more than that, you can't recover that cost which was given. So one is quality, and that relates to cost also. And cost and quality both take time. You have to spend, you have to work, you have to think of quality, you have to follow all procedures, and these all count. Number of days, number of months, number of years. So time then comes a factor. Time, we can say, very important factor, because time is fixed for your project or for whatever. You have to finish that project at least at end of that day. And if you're unable to do that, you have to face damages. That's called liquidated damages in contract term. This means you will be fined because you delay. So that's important factor. If finance comes into picture because of time. Time is important factor because person who has invest money on project, that person also seeks to get returns or profit or whatever purpose there was. It has to operate. And that stage, when we say it has to operate, means whatever project to deliver, that project must be used. Then at time of use, we stop it calling project. Then it becomes your delivered work. Or maybe plant, it may be whatever, you can say it's operational now. So we have to apply quality understanding differently, varyingly on all these. My explanation of quality is very boring, I know you feel very much bored, but remember, knowledge is always bored. You are not watching film, you are not reading poetry, you are not reading stories, we are talking reality. And reality in life is that life is very slow. It's very, you cannot say in 24 hours day I can move this earth in 1 minute. You can't say that. It's going on this way and no one has control on this. So whatever system we organize or we follow, we can't go beyond its limits. That is our bar. So quality, when I consider, this is not quality control. Again and again I say we are not talking of quality control. I talk of quality in entirety. Quality everywhere. Everywhere it should be, not only in work, it should be in life, it should be everywhere. Means involves safety, you have to think of quality in safety. If you involve work, you have to think of quality in work. If you are taking food, you have to think of quality of food. If you are cooking, you have to quality of cooking. Means whatever you do, you have to, even if you're driving, means you know traffic rules, you need to follow them exactly. That's also called quality control, quality, you can say quality driving. Some people just rash for nothing, rash drive for nothing. You can say that's called nonsense, because you are subjecting others to your risk of accident, and you too are going to face that if it mishappens. So quality means that you have to respect others, you have to follow others. It has that type of quality. And your car must have rated speed, rated driving. You have to follow that. Means yes, you can drive 120, 130, 140 depending on those roads as well. Question is, that's not quality driving. Quality here is defensive driving, you can say. There are two types of driving, just for information. This one offensive driving, and other one is defensive driving. In offensive driving, we act over smart. We just go on driving without caring for others. Just I want to overtake for sake of overtaking. That's my purpose, and that's called offensive driving. You are not caring for others. You just care for yourself. I want to show to them I am very good driver. I can drive it. Because nobody is going to consider you drive fast or low, but you think that way. And you offend others. An offense of others means you attack, in fact, you attack others. And it can result in accident as well. Other one is you drive safe, you first protect yourself and then you protect others as well. You have to protect both yourself and others. You have not to be offender, you have to be defender. That's the sole purpose of that. Defensive driving is a kind of quality driving, you can say controlled driving. So life is this, we can consider quality not only in construction fields but also in life field. Means quality of life. Quality, people say, what is quality of life? I can say, you have to decide yourself what's the quality. Being punctual in life is also quality. Being regular in life is also quality. Being good to others is also quality. Being efficient is also quality. Good talk is also quality. Writing power is also quality. Speaking power is also quality. Helping others is also quality. Means whatever you do in your life for positive action, for good action, all that count to quality. Because not only you are improving your quality by that method, you are going to improve or teach those who have no knowledge as such. So in projects which are related to society, we do projects for whom? We do projects for society and not for only ourselves. Yes, we are engineers, we can say we can serve people by giving them what they require. That's the only point I can say. That if you go back to many hundred years, you will find different jungles, forests, and who changed them now to current development. It's only civil engineering, or you may say common sense engineering, or you also can say engineering where mind and bodies both are required. And because of some learning from institutions having certain good degrees or diplomas, we are taught how to work, how to think, how to concentrate, how to reach solution. This is very important point. When I say organization, we have to organize this. Organization is not a building. When somebody wants organization to come, or which organization working, I say human organization. Organization is not a building. Organization is not door window. That is housing of that. That organization is in the mind. Many people collect together, we call them organized, but they are organized only when they follow certain system, and system rules, not those people. Governing rules and not your personality. That's what you may say organization. And I always try to replace management with organization, because management is very old term and it has lost its meaning which it had. Because first of all, it is man, means it's only plural, or no plural, you can say male dominated. So organ means organization is organ of what? Organ of society. In whatever society organization is, means this organ of society, just like organ of body and society is a body. It's organizations. We have to just little differently think this organization as something which is not physically oriented. It's a group of people who have shared some responsibility directly to lead, or to lead others, or to be led. Both way you can move forward, and that's where quality lies in. And when I say this, construction crew itself is a group of people which has set objectives of delivering that project. That's, you can say, those people who are involved in groups, or you can say team or crew, they are having same, as I said, quality contributors. Now they contribute or they don't, it's up to them. It's different, but they are expected to contribute to that project construction, project movement. And that quality performance, if they do, if they really contribute to project working, project movement, that's what is expected. They learn too later. Once you do yourself and you keep on moving and learning, and then you have to achieve your milestones, or you achieve date of delivery of the project. And that's what is important point, in which you have to do hard work every day for months and for years until the project exists or is going on. The project is not closed, and you too are there every day. You and whosoever you are, means you're bound by yourself. You're bound. You're not able to enjoy life as, because you're tied up on your project. And project tying up means there is no separate privilege of enjoying life. And when it is project, it's a big question mark, because you cannot leave project also until it is done, or you are relieved, either of that. So quality plays a very, very important role in life, even in other services, you can say, other than engineering, whatever services available. All those services must be quality oriented, defined quality oriented, not mandated quality oriented. Because if let people themselves something, they can do better than if there's some force on them. So point here, quality, sometimes I deviate from this profile and I go to somewhere else, but my expression is only to let people understand what is required. Quality cannot be defined in one sentence, or just like engineering cannot be defined in one sentence. I try to define just verb thing, because engineering is verb, actually speaking. Engineering is no word, it's just engineer. If you use it as verb rather than as a personality, you can say use your mind to do more and more, to find more and more, to understand more and more, because engineering is built in your mind. I cannot show my engineering to you by some photograph or by some written statement. I can just explain to you what is required, what's not required, how people use, how people don't use, and that's what I say when I come to engineering, civil engineering at least, if not others. I am civil engineer, but it doesn't mean I'm everything. I have also limitations. Civil engineering, it may be mechanical engineering or electrical engineering or all other non-IT engineerings, and of course IT engineering. There's a varying difference if you take a world of civil and compare to mechanical or compare to electrical. You'll find dissimilarities among all these. It's only civil engineering which starts with scratch, and it goes to give you finally, you can say silver lined product, or you can say locked product. You have to unlock and open it. That is level of civil engineering. Civil means real engineering, public engineering. I can say civil is public. So I am a public engineer to help public. You are also a public engineer if you are in this field of civil engineering, or you are mechanical engineering, which is also a public field, as well as electrical is very much public field. So in fact these three are sit together to think for years to complete the project, how to do project, and that's part of meeting and everybody knows it. So we have to be very consultative on this issue. What is engineering? I would again and again say thinking is engineering. Thinking is engineering. If you can think after being an engineer, you can get a lot. Disease of engineer is that he thinks too much. I may say rather than disease, that merit of engineers is merit of engineer is the engineer thinks too much, and that's what when we study engineering, we are taught, assume, suppose, this and that. They never give you any lecture without reference of calculations or formula. That's where engineering lies in. Actually, engineering is formula world. If you want to really define mature engineering, engineering is a formula world. Derived formula, or this is, I can say, empirical formula. You have to calculate. And without calculation, you are not going to explain someone, or you are not going to understand yourself. We call it that in engineering there's drawing or some such document. Just in one instance we know what it's talking about. That's where engineering plays a major role. So my engineering is that I have passed my, you can say, life. I have got something, means I learned something. It may be useful for further development, but it is practical understanding of field. Theoretical we understand when we study, that can be refreshed only, but theoretical, that is. But if you say learning in practice is expensive, you must have for project, or you must have opportunity to get something like that, and This is what you have to do. You have to do that project when it starts, and you have to complete that project. It's not easy, it's not easy, it's difficult. But you have to organize, and once you organize, it's easy for you only to move in that office and do your job, and your heirs may stand there somewhere or whosoever. So point lies here in fact that engineering and quality are such terms which can be defined in numerous ways, not one way, not two way. You can define it to your requirement, to your capacity, what you want to explain, but who is there to listen? Point is that it's only you to listen to, it's only you to understand it, and it's not easy for you also sometimes because you think of engineering in making money. That is set in your mind, and in fact you don't get that response in market, and you become upset. But don't worry, it is world, and life more goes on and on. I still remember my time when I first time after passing my civil engineering diploma from Board of Technical Education Delhi, I just got certificate, which was of course copy of a plus real one, and I got a certificate thinking I got engineer standard. But I did not take care of my thinking. I thought, oh no problem, was required in engineering. That was wrong. I had to study engineering, then I had to take care of myself into this, going to do everything. I self and my, I still remember one person, one engineer who advised me that do yourself everything, don't depend on others until you can do it. And that was really very at that time I could not get meaning of that, but I realized during career that that person, that senior veteran, just told me this, and it's very important. When I see people don't cooperate intentionally or unintentionally, I've seen that they do not give you, you know, your requirement. They say this is required, you take your road. But is that right? We have to think that way. What is right, what is not right, that should be considered. Maybe you think it's right, but that may not be right. And whatever you think that is right, they may think, no, this is not right. So this clashes now should stop. I can only say that. You have to face reality of life. We have to face, you know, what life says, and because we are intelligent people, intelligent to some extent possibly. So that's what life is, and we have to understand life in that situation, in that environment. I was talking about quality in works, and it is not civil works only. This is general. We have to achieve quality. This is not easy, to be very frank. It's not easy. It is defined, of course. Quality is defined, and we have to work within that definition. If really we want to obtain quality works, we have to stay in that sphere. Then we say quality achievement is not everybody's baby. One should be educated, one should be thinker, one should be smart, and one should know what is the requirement of quality. Maybe in beginning of some project, when you initiate that project and you are project controller or project in charge, nobody will say anything to you. Nice. Means quality you have to define, or you are given defined quality. Sometimes you write specifications yourself and submit for approval, and other party also approves that, so that becomes binding on you. It's therefore very important point of quality in life. And I was I talked about many you know many topics on quality in construction, and those were, I can say, those were I just blow it down. Those were setting out on excavations. I explained at length. Then we went to, I'll review this later on. We went to for hand excavation. Then we moved to formation, foundation. Below foundation there is that there, and otherwise, protection. Things of foundations, preparatory works. It was preparatory works now. Then we call off small piece of columns below ground in contact with soil, which call them backfill activity, which is very common and very dangerous activity. We talked at length about. Testing, and it's really and we can say RCC columns, we discuss the length, and we can say RCC walls, we also discuss the length, and then we discussed about lift well work, we length we discussed, and we then went on to longitudinal stairs we discussed. Then we discussed suspended slab we were discussing yesterday. It is almost complete, and I don't exactly remember. I'll repeat it now. It's what we talked of that. And pedestal footing. So let me just read the previous one so that you can just reconnect, or you might recall what we talked. I'm just reading from this note, suspended slab related activity. Suspended slab, it's very important slab, and without this slab nothing can happen, nothing can move. Suspended slab is that activity. And this is checklist only. There's nothing, you cannot say. This is not method, this is just checklist of that. Method is different. I will take up methods later on. I have many methods for sharing, and that is based on my career build-up. Wherever I worked on projects, I recorded those activity-based methods. Many, and with the sketches I will show you, because those are real engineering learning methods. Those method statements, actually, to be those method is the name, but it is real statement. You can say kind of detailed specifications that we have to apply with. It's not not technical specification. This is total direction. So in a suspended slabs, conduct in-depth coordination on drawings, which is important for relevant involved activities. Ensure that all structural and coordinated services drawings are ready for construction. Actual details pertaining following settings should be charted out clearly, and that is communication to site, what you call it, sort of clearly, and that this communication site, any or whatever error you may have, it could mar site work, or it could delete, or can say defer site work of suspended slab. If whatever error is found, it has to be corrected immediately. Otherwise, you can hold work. If it can be corrected, you correct it. Now all setting of grids on both directions must be accurate. All supporting system, it's called scaffolding system, those drawings are ready, duly approved or certified. Designers, manufacturer designer. You cannot blindly go, you have to understand design first. Only after understanding and find material requirements, and then it is again time consuming, but you have to, purpose of yours is that you have to save all this. You have to save your cost of this 200 from thousands of what you are having. And that's point where we have to think. Then we can say setting of all grids is okay, all supporting systems okay, fine, scaffolding drawings are ready and approved, and access scaffolding details are ready, means you have to access to scaffolding and the access to site of that work. Whatever work we do, there's all stepped foot, or like ladders, stepped ladders we have to fix in for good access, for smooth access. Then materials for all areas ready for safe working. Materials for all areas ready for safe working, and around of portable area, you can say. Materials for all areas ready for safe working in and around of portable area, means where a slab is, or periphery of slab is in safe working should be there. Metals for areas are ready for preparatory works, and all metals we must have. Before we start, we should know, we start thinking of what metal is required. Total metal must have. Otherwise, you can't say, I'll get it when it's required. You can't get 11th hours, you have to plan well, and this is what is engineering work means. We should know what we require. It's material wise, it's machine wise, or it's human resources, all the then then because all rebars are ready, duly tagged, means, and ensure all columns are poured, walls are poured. Before means we start slab, ensure construction joints are made on column tops, and datum line are fixed on columns or on walls. Then erection of supporting either mechanical as well, hand as well, triggers, and show that erection and installation of system, we can say. Then ensure fixing of all beams bottom and must be ensured for correctness by land survey or experience of foreman. Now, what is leveling of beams? Beam soffits means the bottom of beams. We have to ensure levels are in position and level, neither up nor down. This is beam soffit significant. This is because beam bottoms are to be at right position, and then leveling of it is required, but within approximation at this stage, and we have to fix it later on. The beam sides must be stripped before if you can use it somewhere else, so we have to fix accordingly that this should not be trapped in. Maybe 2 days, within 2 days we want to take out sides, we can take out sides. This means this should be free of obstruction when you take it out. Of course, after taking out, we have to do curing, don't forget that, but it's important to know. You can say beam sides, it took off, skipping time, stripped out conveniently before others, and soffit may be in place or defined duration of form of strike. That soffit cannot take it out until this time is over, or you take out plywood and leave props in position. It's not easy, also difficult. Then you can say when we take slab soffit level, the slab bottom level, whatever levels you have to make sure we are achieving that. Then you can say a correct alignment, and safety rails have to provide around all periphery. Then you can say ensure safety rails is availability installed around working area from safety reasons. A correct alignment is marked on slab, you can say axia for slab sides. Ensure location of construction joint if so required for a major pour. Then ensure that grid locations are correctly transmitted on slab beam lines. This is grid location. It could be struck, well, we have seen that one. Then make sure correctness by checking level on slab. We are going to do snot check. Make sure correctness of checking levels on slab, dimensions of beam sections. Make sure if so required, timber fillets are fixed on beam corners for exposed faces. Now I'm getting timber flats. It's not necessary to be timber. It can be some other material like plastics. Timber is very expensive, so I have written because that time use that, but not necessary. If you have something in scrap or form, you can use that. Don't worry about that, okay? And then it is that so we go on further and we say all bars are tightly bound and rebars are concentrated, placed well, and whatever is to be done in those has to be done. Bars are tightly bound and concrete or plastic spacers are fixed uniformly or as required. That services blockouts are marked and fixed according to requirement, and bottom reinforcement is placed as required, and ensure that electrical first fix conduit work is done satisfactorily and inspected by competent electrical engineer. Adequate core laps are available for next floor. If that begins living case, make sure that all overlaps or extending bars are well held by stirrups or rings of columns. Then make sure that all mechanical connectors, if used in place of overlaps, are well placed and held and tightened, or you can say well, ensure that adequate space is available after mechanical so that overlaps are extended. Make sure mechanical connectors are there, tightened, adequate space available after mechanical connectors and fixed, and no problem for vibration. Epoxy coated bars are used in case you have to take care of that also. Paint, if removed, shall be redone. The Previous concrete joints are well cleaned by scabbling or hacking. Ensure the note that timber piece, etc. is available after cleaning by air compressor is done. It's not. It's hot. If it's hot, keep form cool by allowing water. Every care is required to check a flash setting would not be avoided, and flash setting means that when you are high temperature of weather and you are working on steel and you have to then pour it in hot weather also, that means your steel is hot and you pour concrete, means there will flash. Concrete will set. The concrete is also hot at that time, but not that much hot as your steel is. So it will flash setting, which is not permissible in concrete. Steel created flash setting is not permissible because it impacts on wet concrete structure. Then you can say so is flash setting I said. Every care I was required to check the flash setting would be avoided, and the stair portion to be poured with slab is well scabbled down at joint locations and rebars clean quickly, properly. Ensure cleaning of lift well rebars. If it is, you are doing there are bars on lift itself, so you have to clean them so that portion of slab goes on that portion of wall is done well. Then all block cuts or misters are placed, cleaning is done, so scaffolding manufacturer certification is available like that. Then you can make sure that all portions of beam downstands are well secured by fixing tie bolts if required, wherever required. Ensure that all column caps forms are in plumb and well secured. So we can say here, then plan ensures thorough inspection is conducted after plumb and well secured. Ensure a thorough inspection is conducted for all preparatory as well as temporary works. No doubts should remain unattended. There should be no doubt. Then plan pouring activity in all respects as you know, respects defining the location of pumps and truck mixers. Make sure that certain formwork steps for see this all like that. We have to understand everything. It's a very important point. We have to take into consideration all this. And that point is that chart out concrete start line timing means no doubt should remain unattended. Plan pouring activity in all respects, defining locations of pumps and truck mixers. Make sure that certain formwork steps for emergency provision of construction joint readily available. Chart out concrete start timing, sequence, date, duration, procedure, equipment availability, and also make sure that testing laboratory technicians available at that time and prior to concrete pour. Check all supports and system again. Make sure that adequate workers, number of workers, strength would be available during pour. Make sure that concrete pour timings match with temperature range, and that make sure that yes. And then you can say responsible supervising engineer would be available during pouring in case there is already one slab below system. Ensure that additional supporting